And we are back, kiddos, with the finishing part of our lesson. So we are on page 51. We've already read our little excerpt from the Ransom of Red Chief about Sam and Bill and the 10-year-old wildcat that they are trying to kidnap. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to read our prompt, and we're highlighting it, and it says to use the details from the passage to predict whether Sam and Bill's plot will succeed. And it goes on to tell you that I'm going to underline prediction. I'm going to circle inference because I want you to realize that a prediction is a type of inference. It's a reasonable guess that you need to support with evidence. You're trying to predict what's going to happen. Your very own version of a crystal ball, and you do that by inferring based on the details we get from the text. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this chart below, and it lists some details about the boy. Now, guys, because these are the important details from the text. So we're going to start with the inference. Y'all know I like to work my way back to my evidence first because my inference is what I'm guessing, my prediction. So I predict that Sam and Bill's plot. So, guys, what do we think? Well, if you want to pause the video for a second, pause the video. And I'm assuming we're done pausing the video right about now. So we're going to look at Sam and Bill's plot. Like when I say plot, will it fail or will it succeed? Well, Miss Murray does not think it's going to succeed. I predict that Sam and Bill's plot will fail because the boy, well, the 10-year-old boy, because that's a big deal, guys. He's only 10. The 10-year-old boy will be too hard for them to deal with. The 10-year-old boy, the 10-year-old is too hard for them to deal with. So I predict that Sam and Bill's plot will fail because the 10-year-old is too hard for them to deal with. Now, the next thing I got to do is go jump over to my evidence because my evidence is what I need to prove my inference. And the first thing it tells you is, but wait, I'll tell you, guys, this implies a problem. If you got to start your story with just wait till I tell you what happens. What happened was, this is that version of that from the 1800s. So it starts off with the kid was in the street, and then I'm going to go back and look at my text because I'm putting quotes around it, and it says the kid was in the street throwing rocks at a kitten on the opposite fence. And notice it's got quotation marks around it because I can go point my finger at it from the second line. Go back to line 2, and you can see the paragraph 2. The kid was in the street throwing rocks at the kitten on the opposite fence. This is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen, because what does this imply about the kid if he's throwing rocks at a cat? Because last time I checked, according to the internet, cats are cute. They're everywhere. Who throws rocks at kittens? Everybody loves kittens, right? So the fact, and don't argue with me right now, it's okay. According to the internet, everybody loves kittens and cats. They think they're adorable and cute. So if someone were to throw rocks at a kitten, that says they might be a little on the violent side. My next piece of evidence to support that Sam and Bill are not going to be successful in ransoming this child is that the boy catches Bill neatly in the eye with a piece of brick. Now, keep in mind, guys, that catch has different meanings. It can mean to take hold of, to capture, or hit. And in this instant, it means hit. So he hits Bill neatly in the eye with a piece of brick. This also lets me know that this is nuts because a 10-year-old just threw a piece of brick at an adult that tried to offer him candy. Now, this is before nowadays where we know you're not supposed to get in the strange white van with the people offering you candy and the puppy. Okay, so with all that being said, we're now going to apply our background knowledge. And because we know that throwing rocks at cats and people is mean, it's going to suggest that the boy is hard to deal with. Now, which is why I think that they're not going to be successful in getting a ransom for this kid. Now, if we look at what I've added at the bottom of the page, I've taken this and I've put together into a paragraph that hopefully can help you understand a couple of things about what's going on with our inference. And the whole point is that when we put it together, it comes up to be kind of like a racist paragraph. So you've got the R where we restate our prompt that says the reader is able to predict, because our prompt was, what are we able to predict? And our answer is the inference that Sam and Bill's plot will not succeed because the kid they've kidnapped is too hard to handle. And then we're going to add in where we cite our evidence, and we start with the text says, and it goes all the way from the text says the kid was in the street throwing rocks at kittens on the opposite fence, and that the boy, and I can't read my own because it's so small, the boy catches Bill neatly in the eye with a piece of brick. This is our evidence, and then our next one is going to be the E for race, where we explain this shows how the boy acts because throwing rocks at cats and people is mean. Then we're going to sum up with our very last sentence. Therefore, this suggests the boy is going to be hard to deal with for the kidnappers. So what I wanted you to see is how easy it is to turn this 3-step process into a race is paragraph. All right. So I hope that helped y'all. And if you have any questions, let me know.